It is the most polarizing topic in all of iRacing. It is the one thing that if you bring up, for the most part, you're going to find people on opposite sides of the aisle going crazy over it. And it will incite probably more anger than just about anything else in sim racing right now. So, what is this topic? Well, it's setup shops. That's right. Setup shops. There is nothing right now that will tick people off more than talking about setup shops. And today in this video, I'm going to break down everything that you need to know about setup shops, paid services, and the truth, the actual truth that you need to know. So if you actually go out and try to use somebody else's stuff, you don't get screwed. What's up, everybody? Thomas Brandon here. Thank you very much, as always, for joining me. And like I said, today we're diving into the most polarizing topic in all of sim racing right now, which is setup shops. Now, when I say setup shops, understand I'm talking about paid services in general, and because there's a couple of different ones. So first of all, you've got like custom paints, wraps, and stuff like that. That is, you want something nice on you want your car to look good. You find someone who does paints or wraps, like 5/6 graphics or heat wave designs or something like that, and there's a lot more, so please forgive me if I don't say yours. Those are just the two that I know off my head. But you find them and you pay 15-20 bucks, whatever it costs, and you get a new wrap, right? And it's really, really simple. But on the opposite side of that, we have the performance side of things. And this is where we get into, the setup shops, where we're talking about whether it's for officials or leagues or custom setups. That you've also got trainings, right? Whether it's one-on-one coaches or actual training courses. And being the founder of SSR, right, the School of Sim Racing, and being that SSR is my job. This is what I do for a living now. This is my source of income. This is how I feed my family. It's how I pay my bills. I wanted to cover this and really let you in on the truth of it. Now, for any of you who have followed me or watched my live streams or my videos or anything like that, you know that I've been very open and upfront about what we do at SSR. I'll be the first one to tell you, SSR is not a setup shop. We're not a speed shop. We are a community that offers paid services. We've also got a ton of free services, We have far more free stuff than paid stuff, but we offer the paid stuff because we actually had people in the early days of SSR asking for it. So that was why we offered it. Now, that all being said, shortly after we started offering paid stuff, I noticed a huge jump in the amount of, setup shops, everything like that. And you guys, I'm just going to say setup shops. I don't need to call them all by, whether they're, performance shops, speed shops, win shops, whatever. Just setup shops, okay? And we're popping up everywhere. And if you look now, there's a ton of them. Now, I'm not saying that we caused that at all. I'm just using it as a timeline reference, okay? And right now, there is, I think dozens would be an understatement. There got to be 50, 60, 100 of them now. I mean, there's a ton of them. I can tell you, just myself personally, I've had probably a dozen people who have actually come into the SSR community and asked me if they could promote their setup shop in our community. And I'm just like, no, we don't even really promote our stuff in there. No, sorry, you can't do that, right? So I can tell you right now, just from the experiences that I've had, there's dozens at least, if not, like I said, close to 100. There's a ton of them. And the big problem that is out there when it comes to setup shops is on a couple of fronts, and it's largely due to the fact that they're not only misunderstood, but they're also misrepresented. Okay, and this is where I really get upset on a lot of things, because first and foremost, understand, like I said, the SSR is what I do for a living. It's how I pay my bills. Now, it's not just SSR. We do have other things in there under the LLC that I have. You know, we have the Esports Racing Network, we have the league, we have a bunch of multiple things. You know, I have my streaming and, you know, link, you know, I do, you know, advertisements and stuff like that. So I have a bunch. It's not just that one thing. It's a bunch of stuff in it, but the SSR is the big chunk. And the problem that's out there is that you have a lot of places that promote a buy this, you'll win. Okay, that's the main connection that is always made, and this is what really upsets people the most. Okay, now understand, I am all for people charging money for a service. Okay, I 100%, I have no quarrels or qualms about that. I am a capitalist myself. Okay, I believe in, you know, being able to go out there and you can charge whatever you want, and if people are willing to pay it, congratulations to you. Okay, I do not have any ill will towards anybody who does that. I don't. But when you falsely advertise something or you falsely promote something to people that don't fully understand, that a setup is not the solution, to me, I think you are a freaking scumbag. I really do. Like, I have a big problem with that, because most of the people in iRacing, their problem is not a setup. They are so far away from needing a setup to win races that it's not even worth discussing. You hop into a race, okay, and somebody dominates the race and then they win. And then what do? Right? They post the thing, right? Buy my setup, get this setup to 10% off, 15% off with code whatever, right? And you've got somebody who's in that race who just got stomped, right? They're 2 laps down. If, you know, asphalt race, they're 2 laps down, or a dirt race, right? They just got smashed, and they see this person out there just ripping it, and they see this and they're like, oh wow, I can get that guy set up, because they think that's the answer, and it's not. Your driving is the answer. You need to learn to drive, okay? That's what you need to learn to do. Your setup is such a small portion of it. It's not even funny, all right? When you look at on the dirt, for example, a dirt setup, okay, if we look at the wing sprint cars right now, because those are, you know, obviously the most popular dirt car. When I did my first videos, I talked about how to set up your wing sprint car in iRacing. One of the things that I talked about, why I thought it was important to be able to do what I was doing, was because the car felt much better to me than the iRacing setup. The iRacing setup was always way too tight for me, okay? And so doing that setup helped me get faster because I was far more comfortable. That's the key. It's not that it's a secret sauce, right? That the unicorn setup is out there and now I've got the magic wand and poof, I'm winning races. That's not it. You have to be comfortable. You have to be comfortable. Okay? The vast majority of people in my league run SSR setups, right? They get them from Shea Paulo, who's a pro that builds them that builds the sprint car setups for the insiders. The vast majority of people run his setups. Guess what? They all don't win, right? Because your skill matters. What you do with the car, how you do it matters. It makes a huge difference. The whole point of a setup is to get you the most comfortable that you can be in that car so you can extract the most out of that car. That's the whole purpose of a setup. Now, really quick, yes, there are situations where a setup will just make you faster, and I'll give you an example. If you look at the NASCAR side of things, okay, and I'm sure there's examples of this in road racing and stuff too, I just don't do it, okay, but if you look at the NASCAR series, right, whether it's the Cup Series, the Xfinity, the Truck, okay, even the kind of the super late model, which is a short track, but even that to a certain extent, there are things that you can do that will just out of the gate make you faster. Largely, it's the aerodynamics of the car. Okay, a lot of the iRacing setups are on the tight side. They do that for a reason. It's much easier for somebody who is not an experienced driver to drive a tight race car than a loose race car. If you go into the corner and you turn your wheel this much and the car wants to spin out, if you're, you know, a rookie or a C class driver, right, who just started driving the trucks, that's going to be hard for you to control, and it's going to be hard for you to learn. So the iRacing setups are much more on the tight side, okay, and that's done by design, and that's good because that gives people the ability to have something that they can control and learn with, and that's the key. Now, their setups are also usually not optimized in terms of the aerodynamic profile. Okay, so you can usually lower them and rake them at a little bit different angle and improve your speed by probably on average, if we're talking like intermediate tracks, probably like, maybe 2 to 3 miles per hour, in terms of top speed, like that makes a big difference. But other than that, there is no secret sauce, you guys. There's no magic setup. I don't care what anybody tells you. If they tell you, buy this and you'll win, they are lying to you. Absolutely lying to you, 100%. There's no other way to put it. There really isn't. It just grinds my gears when I see people say that stuff because it's so patently false. It's just a flat out lie. How can you tell somebody that you're going to automatically see success because you've got this? That is bull. Okay? Now, understand, all setup shops don't do that. Okay? They do not do that. But there are some that do. And the ones those of you who do that, right? You setup shops out there that do that, you should be freaking ashamed of yourself because it's disgusting and it's absolute bull. All right, I'm trying to keep this video, PG, so I'm not cussing, but it's a flat out lie. It really is. Okay. Now, there is a purpose for setup shops or purchasing setups. All right, but you need to understand what that purpose is. Okay, when you buy a setup, understand you are not buying a result. What you are buying is time. That's the key, okay? If anybody tells you otherwise, like I said, they're lying to you. You are not buying a result. You are buying time. For example, last week in the Insider program, okay, it was the last week of the NIS series and the year-long Xfinity and truck and stuff like that. I was in North Carolina for the World Finals. I had not been on the sim very much at all, and I thought that was the last week of the Open Xfinity and Open Truck Series. I thought they were going to be done for the next couple weeks, and then next season we would pick up until the big one started. I was wrong. When I hopped on the sim, what was it, Monday night or Tuesday morning, I saw that they had put up a 4-week little mini series to wrap up the season. So yesterday I had to put together the Xfinity and truck setups for the Insider program. It took me 6 hours to build the Xfinity setup, and it took me, I think, 4 hours to do the truck setup. That's 10 hours that it took to build those setups. Now, why did it take so long, right? Well, if you look at the truck setups, the trucks are at Homestead. That's a 1.5-mile track, okay? I'm not building just a qualifying setup. I'm building a race setup. These are 80, 90, 100 lap races. I have to go out and I got to run 30 or 40 laps because I need to make sure that the setup, right, is not just complete garbage at the end of the run when the tires wear out. Also, I need to make sure that the setup is balanced enough to where a driver doesn't go out there and just smoke off the right front in the first 7 laps. So it takes a very long time when you're having to go out and every single change that you make, you got to run, 20, 30, 40 laps to make sure that it's working correctly, okay? So that's one of the big reasons why it takes so long. Also, the NASCARs, for example, are complex. They are. All right? You're not setting up a late model stock, right? Or the rookie street stocks, okay? These are based on the actual NASCAR, the actual NASCAR series. All right? They're very complex. Everybody says they want this to be like a sim. They want it to be like the real world. Well, guess what? These things are complicated in real life. right? In real life, the days of the driver sitting down with the crew chief and being like, hey man, I think we should run this spring and this air pressure and put some wedge in it, and yep, that'll be good, right? They have teams of engineers who sit there looking at data and telemetry and all this stuff like this to find the optimal, right front camber to a fraction of a degree. So these things are complex, and iRacing has replicated that as much as they can without making it so complex that nobody can do it, right? And so it takes time. So the person who gets my Xfinity setup, right? When they get that setup, they just save themselves, okay, 6 hours. All right. And let's say they're way better and much more efficient than I am at building setups. Let's just say it saves them 3 hours, right? Just say we'll cut it in half. We'll say 3 hours. All right. So that is now 3 hours more that they get to go out and race or practice as opposed to test and build a setup. All right. Now in our program, in the Insider program, our stuff it's a monthly subscription, and it starts out at $4 a month per car. That comes to $1 a week, right? So that $1 that they put in, right, bought them 3 hours worth of time. And like I said, that's if they are an incredibly efficient setup builder. Most people are not. Most people are going to take even longer than I did. Okay. So that's what you're buying. You're buying time. You're not buying a result. Yes, I make those setups as fast as I possibly can and as balanced as I can for them to work over the long run. But I do not tell people, you're going to win. You got this, you're going to win. It don't work like that. Even then, I give them a list of notes and adjustments so they can change the car if they need to, because no two drivers are identical. They're not the same. How you drive the car affects the setup. It does. Now, yes, there are a lot of people who get in the setups that I do and inside the program, they're like, man, this thing's great. It fits me like a glove. And then there's people who message me in the work. They're like, dude, Tommy, I can't get this thing to handle right on the exit. It just keeps wanting to come around on me. And then I got to ask them, okay, so how are you driving it in? What is it doing? Blah, 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 blah. And then we figure it out. It's like, okay, make these changes, right? So even then, and with all the time I spend, I'm not going to nail it for everybody. And that's the truth about setup shops. That's the thing that you need to know. You are not buying a result. And like I said, anybody who tells you otherwise is lying to you. You are buying time. The time it takes you to build a setup, to test that setup, so you can go out and hopefully with confidence, right? If you actually trust the ones that you're getting, okay? You can go out with confidence and know that you've had something that's been worked on and you've saved yourself the time, and now you can go out and do what we all want to do, race. And that's what you're buying with the setup. But anyways, you guys, that's going to do it. Thank you very much, as always, for joining me. Now, really quick, do me a favor. If you like this, please hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button, right? Maybe you're someone who loves all setup shops and you think I'm wrong. That's fine. Let me know either way. Also, if you want to sign up for the giveaway, we still got that going on right now. I've had some people who have emailed me and said that the link's not working. I did a little bit of digging, and it looks like all the people that the link is not working are from a certain part of the world where giveaways are not allowed. So if you're trying the link and it's not working for you, if you're not in the United States, you might be in a country that doesn't allow the giveaways, or the company that I'm using for this doesn't allow the giveaways to there. So I'm very sorry. I did not know that going in. I really didn't, because I would have said that in the beginning. I would have said like, hey, you got to be from these places. So if you try the link and it's not working for you for the giveaway, I'm sorry. It looks like you can't be a part of it, unfortunately. Also, we've got the Asphalt Masterclass that is still going up right now. The last 2 weeks, I haven't put up really anything new because my wife had surgery, and then I was at the World Finals all last week. So, but I've got new stuff coming up this week on it. We're on the C-Class cars right now. We're doing the tour mods, the trucks, the super late models, and then in the next module, we'll get to the Xfinity series, and then after that we get to the Cup, we get to the top stuff. So if you want to check that stuff out, also in the B class we're going to look at the Silver Crown and the Sprint Car too. But if you want to check that out, that's all free. It's on the free membership site. Just go to schoolofsimracing.net, click the button that says join community, and that'll also give you access to all of our free setups and the driver suits, all the stuff that we have that we give away for free. It's all on that free membership site. Once you join the website, you have access to it and it never goes away. So if you want to check any of that stuff out, I'll have links for everything down in the description below. But thank you very much as always for joining me, you guys. Until next time, good luck, good racing, take care.